Om Namah Shivaya. Tejabindu Upanishad, verse 13. Brahman is not known to those who are sensitive to fear or pleasure and pain, or honor and disgrace. To one free from these ideas, that supreme Brahman becomes manifest. To one whose highest refuge is Brahman, yea, that supreme Brahman becomes manifest to one whose highest refuge is Brahman. So people tend to get convinced that this world of forms is really what it's all about. This is what our life is all about. And as a result, we get very attached to feeling good, to pleasant experiences, and averse to painful experiences. And of course, we like honor because that feels good. And we loathe dishonor because that feels bad. And that all has to do with the fact that despite our best spiritual intentions, this phenomenal world of forms seems so real that it's inescapable that we experience pleasure and pain, and we don't want pain and we want pleasure. And that's just how it is. But in effect, what this means is we're making the world, the phenomenal world of forms, our refuge. This is what's important to us. And as a result, Brahman remains hidden. So how do we get out of this mess? This verse gives us the secret. To those who make Brahman their highest refuge, they will realize Brahman. Okay, so how do we do that? That's the secret. All right, so let's start at the simplest level. The first thing that we tend to give lots of credence to are our thoughts, our feelings, our moods. They really pretty much dominate our subjective life. And what we're ignoring there is the underlying field, the silent bed of pure awareness. That's the basis of all our thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and moods. So rather than simply being caught in those, let's attend to the foundation of those, that inner silent bed of awareness, that innermost aspect of the self. And of course, that's what meditation is all about, is to transcend all this field of thought and feeling and arrive at that innermost aspect of ourself, that pure awareness. And so as we get more and more familiar with that pure awareness through meditation, we can start to become a little mindful of that. And instead of being entirely caught up in our thoughts and feelings and moods, we can put attention on that inner silent bed of awareness. So that's the first step, because that is the Atman, right? And the Upanishads are not specifically talking just about the Atman, but that is still the first step. So once we become familiar with Atman, with this higher self within, that pure awareness, we start to realize that it's unbounded. It's completely abstract. It's unbounded. Unbounded means it's not restricted to the body. At some point, you can become aware that that unbounded awareness overflows the boundaries of the body, and it pervades the environment of forms as well. So all of this, just as there's pure awareness underlying my thoughts, so that same pure awareness underlies all these forms. So you can start to become mindful of that pure awareness that underlies all the forms of the world. And not only underlies the forms, but permeates all the forms of the world. Just as Einstein revealed E equals mc squared, all this is energy. All this is actually consciousness. It's my consciousness, my awareness. That silent bed of inner pure awareness pervades all this. So now you can start to attend to that. Now you're starting to make that pervasive consciousness, your refuge. And as you relax into that further, you discover that there's actually no boundary whatsoever between inner awareness and outer awareness. It's all the same. It's one uniform field of homogeneous awareness that pervades everything and encompasses everything. So not only do I see myself in all this, but I see that all this is within me. I encompass all this. And that is the realization of Brahman. And so then it's a matter of cultivating that by mindfulness of Brahman. And as you do that, very soon you'll find that the forms of the world become less important. Pleasure and pain become less important. You rise above that concern with honor and dishonor and pleasure and pain, because your refuge is now becoming the infinite. It's becoming Brahman. It's like this. I use an analogy. In a movie theater, we're so used to being so attentive to the forms on the screen. We're not even aware of the screen. We're just completely immersed in the forms. That's like life in ignorance. And of course, it works in a movie theater because who wants to just sit there and be aware of the screen? We want to be aware of the forms. But in the case of Brahman, which is bliss consciousness, eternal, infinite, there's such a big payoff to be aware of Brahman. So why not? We'll still enjoy the forms. It's not like you blank out and the world disappears. You can enjoy the forms, but on the basis of that realization of the infinite. And so this is how you make Brahman your highest refuge. This is how you rise above that sensitivity to fear, to pleasure, pain, honor, dishonor. This is how you become established in that immovable, immortal Brahman. Om Tat Sat.